Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, taking on a super fun and exciting episode for you guys today because Magfest is come and gone, and if you didn't realize, I was one of the judges of one of the components of Magfest this year. The Indie Retro Homebrew Showcase had a ton of fun games, and I was sent each and every one of them to review over the holiday, and I kept that all very quiet until the announcement trailer, and honestly didn't really talk about these games with anyone because I wanted my judging to be fair and be fun. So I'm talking about 5 of my favorite games from the showcase this year, what I think about them. And if you are a developer and you did submit and you were part of the contest, I didn't talk about your game here. It does not mean I did not love it. I don't think there was a bad game in the bunch. These are just the 5 games that absolutely made me gravitate towards them. Before you get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. And honestly, this batch of games really left me optimistic for 2026, because a lot of times in these homebrew showcases, there's a ton of games ranging in quality, but I would say out of the batch I played, all of them in fact, there was no duds in the mix whatsoever. And it really just goes to show just how good indie developments are getting these days. Now right now we're playing Halcyon, which definitely has big Blaster Master vibes, along with a Metroidvania feel as well. This one absolutely, from the art style to the gameplay, just made me fall in love with it, and I had a ton of fun playing around with it. And that is always awesome, because if this is the type of game you like, something like Blaster Master meets Metroidvania, there is going to be a ton of fun for you here. And I would say the number one thing I noticed outside of the gameplay on Halcyon is just how incredibly good the graphics look. We're going to be going over different games from different systems, but this just has that classic NES vibe that we all know, love, and remember, and looks absolutely stunning. And just so you know, all of these games are tested on MiSTer FPGA and work perfectly fine. Some of them are still in active development, but it's one of those things. You're either going to already have played these games, or you're going to hear them coming up soon. But Halcyon, again, just absolutely nails the brief as far as what it's trying to do is concerned. Being that open world 2D adventure game, when you have that Blaster Master style cart and you have that Metroidvania style aesthetic with a little bit of Axiom Verge mixed in, this one absolutely had it come back out in the actual NES days, would have been a straight up 10 out of 10 when it comes to review scores. Now I'm not releasing my scores that I sent into the judges showcase on these videos, because I feel like that's between me and the actual Magfest groups and the people that are going to be reading them, but this is just straight up a new classic, even if it isn't quite 100% finished, at least in the build I played, and I can't wait to play through more of this. So if you see Halcyon for NES, absolutely give it your time, money, and attention, because it is straight up a new classic in 2026. I can't wait to see more of it. Let's move to the second game that definitely caught my attention in this overall roster, and that is Batty Zabella 2 XOXO Xmas. It's basically a point-and-click adventure game in the Game Boy aesthetic, and I will say definitely has a certain vibe going on, which I'm sure you can see here in the screen, but it's definitely tastefully done, and I will say whoever is the pixel artist on this one absolutely have a mastery of dealing with light and shading when it comes to this 8-bit aesthetic, because that background there, the black falling off into brown, falling off into almost grayish white where there's a light source, it is absolutely outstanding. And this is definitely Kirkland brand, definitely legally permissible Elvira on screen, and definitely have a certain vibe going on there. But this is just a fun, campy horror aesthetic in that kind of Elvira theming, and it worked on Game Boy as far as the overall black and white color scheme is concerned. Now this one definitely is going to be, in my opinion, a love it or hate it sort of experience, even though there isn't anything to hate here. It's just down to whether or not this is the type of gameplay genre you're interested in. But a lot of times, because I do have an MFA in cinematography and I've been a working artist for 22 years, end up gravitating towards the look of a game, maybe not first but simultaneously with the gameplay, because visuals, personality, sense of place, and story are really important to me if I really want to bear down and enjoy the storyline and gameplay of something. And Batty Zabella 2 definitely had that in spades here. There's a ton of personality, it is Christmas themed, which as of today isn't as relevant as it was back in December. But if you haven't played this one yet, if you haven't checked it out, if this seems like something you might be interested in the gameplay department, definitely give it a go. And I will say the story, while absolutely cheesy in all the best ways possible, 100% hits and 100% drives the overall narrative forward. It also has a pretty fun soundtrack as well, so go ahead and listen, and I'll be right back with 3 more games to talk about. I mean, what else can you say about Batty's Isabella 2 other than the fact that it is a total vibe? And you know, when I say something's a vibe, I mean, I think you're going to enjoy it. Now moving over to Light from Within, this is a Legend of Zelda style 8-bit adventure game, and I will say in all my time spent with it, I absolutely fell in love with this one. From the art style to the aesthetic to the gameplay and everything else, including story, this one just 100% landed for me and felt like a really special experience. And just so you know, I spent a metric ton of time with all of the games I reviewed, but these captures are actually from a friend of mine, Kilter Music, who helps me with the captures on the channel, because I sent him my 5 favorite games to capture for this, because I wanted him to actually provide feedback on what he thought as well, because I always love to try to correlate my thoughts with someone who has a completely independent brain of me, and I say nothing when I actually send him these files. I just say, capture this for me, play around with it, and you tell me what you think about it when you're done. And that's how I kind of derived this video, just kind of seeing if how I felt about things were similar to how Kilter Music did, and I would say maybe 9 out of 10 times we were kind of on the same page here, and he absolutely loved this one as well. If you like The Legend of Zelda, whether you're talking about the original on NES or even Link to the Past on Super Nintendo, this is one that you absolutely have to play. It kind of has the NES aesthetic, but it kind of has more of the gameplay hook of Link to the Past, and if you compare those two games to anything you make and it kind of holds up, you know you've done an absolutely outstanding job. I love the graphical style in Light from Within, and I kind of like the darker color palette here as well. The colorways on offer kind of show a world that's a little bit more depressed than the bright, colorful, poppy graphics you get in something like Link to the Past or the original Zelda. And the music's definitely a straight up 10 out of 10, so second soundtrack sample, and I'll be right back. Now moving over to the next game on Sega Genesis, this is Sword of the Apocalypse, and if any of this gameplay or footage looks familiar, that's because it's been showcased in the Sega Neptune project videos. That is an FPGA console being made out of Brazil by GamesCare, and this is one of the games that's going to be launching with that hardware. Now just be aware, this is not a finished ROM here whatsoever, so do not think of this as indicative of the final quality. But as far as all of the games I played visually in the Magfest Indie Showcase for judging, this one 100% just did everything I wanted. It has a very vibrant color profile, it has amazing animations, and hopefully soon it's going to have some amazing gameplay as well, because there is a little bit of gameplay here, but this is something just looking at it, I think to myself, if the development on this continues in the same manner that you're seeing here, with all of the fun movement tech and everything else, you're going to end up in a situation where you're going to have an amazingly colorful, amazingly vibey 2D action platformer with some really fun combat as well on the Genesis soon. And we've seen so many amazing games go to Genesis lately. I love seeing all of this, and I'm definitely a little bit biased, even though I have no bias whatsoever, just because I absolutely love saturated colors, I love unique colorways, and all of that kind of magenta and pink in the background, those little pops of those blue mushrooms, just kind of feel like someone's been looking at the video game Esoterica title bump color profiles in all of the best ways. So this one, at least aesthetics, absolutely hits for me, and it also has a really fun soundtrack sample as well. So we're going to do another one basically back to back, listen to the audio quality, but look at that mushroom animation, that is lush for the Sega Genesis. But here comes the music, and I'll be right back with some more games to show you. Awesome soundtrack, awesome visuals, and the gameplay that is here is definitely making me think that when this thing is done, it is going to be a fun time. But again, not every single game I'm talking about here is going to be finished, so I am basically just kind of previewing some things. And again, I've got one more game to show, but if you're at Magfest showcasing your indie games and I didn't talk about it, please don't think that that doesn't mean I didn't love it. I only have so much time to make videos. I am definitely moving into a new house this week, so if I didn't mention you, just remember, I thought everything you made was amazing, and I couldn't make any of this whatsoever, even if I spent the next 10 years trying to learn. Now moving on to the last game in the showcase, and one that definitely made me smile a ton. This is the Adventures of Panzer Frontiers. Kind of plays like something like Battletoads, at least the actual speeder bike sequences, along with something like Sunset Riders and even other games like Moo Mesa from Konami. You're basically a cow riding another cow, basically performing this kind of run and gun shmup setup. It is fun, it's got a ton of platforming, it's got ghosts and cowboy hats, and honestly, if you put a ghost in a cowboy hat and make it look this cute, I just say screw it, you won all of Magfest, congratulations, take your award home. All jokes aside, there's just some fun, charming things that when I see them, you can tell the person that made them absolutely loved this. And when I said very similar Battletoads vibes, this level right here kind of feels exactly like the speeder bike segments from something like Battletoads. This one is fun, this one is challenging, and it is a capital G game as far as video gaming is concerned. Tight patterns, a lot of fun, a lot of memorization, and just an overall joy to play. And this one is available online as well. I will leave a link in the description to all these games if they are available. And just so you know, the developers of these games don't know I'm making this video. Nothing is an affiliate link. I don't make a penny off recommending them to you. I just love showcasing the talent that is out there when it comes to actually making new games for retro hardware. And also, I love the soundtrack of this one, so it's our last soundtrack sample, and I'll be right back. Amazing music, amazing visual, and like I said, a little bit of Wild Guns in here, a little bit of Sunset Riders, a little bit of Battletoads, and those are three incredible games to compare against. And honestly, having judged all of these titles, it really makes me happy to see just how much love and development's out there in retro gaming in 2025. And if I'm so lucky to judge Magfest again next year, I can't wait to see what people come up with, because retro is alive and well. It isn't just alive, it is thriving, and we're all the beneficiaries of that. So again, if you want to play any of these games, they're available. The link in the description below, and I can't wait for you to check them out. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.